Well, welcome back to the One Another podcast. I'm your host, Josh Squires, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, Josh Fleming.
Josh, always a pleasure to be with you.
Thanks for being with us. And our special guest, Bruce Stallings. Bruce?
Looking forward to today's conversation.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So why don't we talk about what it is that we're doing, just in case somebody is joining us for the first time. This episode gets shared to them. What are we doing in this season?
This season we're going through Thomas Brooks' Precious Remedies Against Satan's Devices. Really a follow-up from what we did last season. Last season we talked about 10 sins we see plaguing people. And this is looking at it from the devices, the things, the tricks, the tactics, you might say, that Satan uses to deceive people, to bring them into sin. And Brooks is offering us up what he calls precious remedies. The things you might use to avoid, to defend yourself against Satan's attacks. Right. Last week we looked at his first device. Y'all might remember that one. It was this presenting the bait, hiding the hook. Satan was going to present it as this master fisherman who gives you just what you want to see, but hides how it's going to harm you and reel you in, so to speak. This week we're looking at device 2.
Okay.
And device 2 is somewhat similar. I'll read how he describes it briefly, and then we can kind of discuss. Okay. It's maybe a slightly different nuance of Satan's deceiving methods. He says, by painting sin, this is device 2, by painting sin with virtue's colors. He says Satan knows that if he should present sin in its own nature and dress, then the soul would fly from it rather than yield to it. And therefore he presents it unto us not in its proper colors, but painted and gilded over with the name and show of virtue. So last week we had Satan the master fisherman. This I kind of think of Satan as the that slimy used car salesman. So he's got this one on the lot, and he knows it's had a couple wrecks in its history.
Yeah.
And he knows the transmission's got some issues, but he cleans it up as best he can, maybe puts a fresh paint job on it. And looks for some unsuspecting customer to come along and say, let me sell you this thing. I've painted it up really nice. It looks good.
Yeah, we've just put it through the reconditioning.
That's right.
It looks brand new, but really it's about to fall apart. Yeah, so I like his description here. Though I have to admit, in his description, he gives us a couple of examples of what that might look like. And he says, pride he presents to the soul under the name and notion of neatness and cleanliness. Anyone who's been to my office knows I've never struggled with pride in that particular manner.
To look at your office, you would immediately conclude you're a very humble person.
Thank you.
Given that,
based on what we've seen here from Brooks.
Given that definition, that is absolutely true. But he does give another example, which I thought was really, really helpful. Drunkenness to be good fellowship.
That's right.
So I'm wondering, maybe given that we had the 10 sins that people struggled with last season, if we might be able to look at some of those and just think, how is it that some of these, we don't have to do all of them, how might some of these be painted with virtue's color?
Right.
Right.
Well, I thought of, when he says pride, I thought more along the lines of, like, you might say, well, I don't struggle with pride. I'm just self-confident. I've got some, good, a healthy, you might say, self-esteem.
Yeah.
And you can sort of trick yourself by coloring it as a virtue.
Yep.
And when in all actuality, man, you're just prideful and boastful. And
so there may be, think about unrighteous anger, unrighteous anxiety.
Yeah.
My guess, and I'm not able to defend this, is what do you figure 10% of our anger in our life is righteous anger?
I think I said on the podcast that I'm sure there's such a thing as righteous anger. I just don't know that I've ever seen it.
Yeah. So clearly,
right.
that gets painted, especially once you get educated with the new concept. Because when you're growing up, no one says there's righteous anger.
Right.
So you learn that.
Yes.
Oh, there's a concept of righteous anger.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what my anger is.
Yes.
Or anxiety.
Yes.
Oh, that's what my anxiety is. It's the righteous anxiety.
Yeah.
It is few and far between. But it's interesting, just the category
right
gives us a place
once
to go.
you know that, that's a thing?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think Satan had to defend it. He just threw this category up, and we immediately jumped into that.
Yeah. So I was looking at where would I go if I wanted to think about virtues. Of course, there are virtue lists all throughout Scripture, but probably the most famous is going to be the fruit of the Spirit, right? By the way, notice fruit, not fruits of the Spirit, though we're going to tease it out into separate virtues, plural. And so I always read these because I end up missing one. If I try to do it by memory, I always end up missing one. It's a different one each time, but I miss one. So here we have love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And so I was thinking about unrighteous anger as well. I was like, what does he paint my anger as when I get angry? And I think oftentimes he paints it as faithfulness. You're being faithful to protect something.
Stand for truth. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And uses words like honor, not pride. Oh, no. This is my honor. This is the honor of something. Now, I want to make sure that I'm protecting the honor of Christ, especially as I kill sin in my own life and reflect his character. So not all honor is bad. But again, here's Satan using what is a virtue, honor, in order to paint anger, which we know kills in the heart. So that was one of the examples I had in my heart as well. And then fear of man, which was our second, our next to top sin. I thought peace.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
For the sake of peace.
For the sake of peace. That's exactly right. Love, joy, peace. Oh, well, I don't want to rock the boat. I want to make sure that I'm protecting the peace, unity, and purity. And we do. We make...
Right. Jesus says in the Beatitudes, blessed are the peacekeepers, right?
That's right.
And, yeah, there's like a real desire to maintain the peace, the unity of the body, and yet you can really easily hide your fear of man and your fear of any level of conflict, even if it's some conflict that sometimes you need to have with this, like, well, I'm just going to... Let's keep things peaceful.
Yes.
Let's keep things... That's good. Yeah, I think all of these, like these sort of sins of the tongue, can be pretty quickly covered up in some other, it's like cursing. It's like, how often are defending of the faith, are we actually just making ad hominem arguments against the person? Like, oh, we'll completely trash that camp and tell you everything bad about them.
Yeah,
and we're defending the true truth of Scripture, you might say.
Yeah.
But really, actually, you're making just you're cursing your fellow man. You're making some attacks that
trampling the ninth commandment.
Absolutely. So
well, and I thought about gossip as instead it's presenting itself as truth.
That's right.
That's right.
I'm just being honest about this particular person, not to them, not to their face, right? But to somebody else who might also need to know about what that person's doing.
And we talked about that, I think, when we talked about gossip last season. And it's like, well, sometimes it's like you can paint that up as like, well, hey, you know what? We need to pray for Bruce.
Yeah.
Because,
do you know what Bruce is doing?
Which
Bruce
you do, by the way.
Please, actually.
Actually.
But with a much better attitude.
But no, we can be like that. We can say, well, hey, I gotta share this thing with you. We need to be praying for this person because they're going through this, and this. And it's like, hey, dude, actually, all you're doing is dragging them through. You're kind of airing all their dirty laundry. And did you ever even get to the prayer?
Right, yeah.
Just talk about it.
Yeah.
Gossip
I had a guy
can be
say
easily...
to me one time, and unfortunately, I've heard it multiple times since then. It shocked me the first time I heard it, and then I've heard it multiple times since then, which was having a conversation. I said, brother, I think you're just slandering that guy. And the response is, if it's true, it's not slander. Well, that is exactly
right.
Which, by the way, that's a false statement.
Yes.
Okay,
Right.
you can slander. Matter of fact, it's actually more effective to slander somebody with truth than a lie. So you could be telling the truth in a harmful way intentionally. That's slander. Well, that's what Satan has done. He's painted that picture to say, oh, no. If it's true, it's not slander. You're free to do that.
That's right.
That's dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah. That's good. Those are some good examples. I wonder, he gives us here, I think, 4 remedies. Is that right?
Yes.
Look through the chapter.
Yep.
Which of these stuck out to you guys? Which of these remedies were you like, oh, yeah, that's really a helpful one? Or Any thoughts on that?
The most piercing one was the last one to me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, seriously, to consider that even those very sins that Satan paints and puts new names and colors upon cost the best blood, the noblest blood, the life blood, the heart blood of the Lord Jesus. Oh, just, you want to put them in a category. What's a small sin?
Yeah.
It's a little sin. It's not a sin that has great consequence. And he reminds us. I thought of Isaiah 53. He has borne our sins. He's borne our griefs. He was pierced for our transgressions, crushed for our iniquities. So our sin. What is the? How deep the Father's love for us.
Yes.
It was my sin that held him there. To be reminded of that is a powerful remedy that requires some really good theology to be wrapped around it.
The end of that device or that
section,
remedy. Oh my goodness. I mean, it this close to getting my eyes to sweat.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I'm just going to read it because you can't do better than this. That head before which the angels do cast down their crowns should be crowned with thorns, and those eyes, purer than the sun, put out by the darkness of death. Those ears, which hear nothing but hallelujahs of saints and angels, to hear the blasphemies of the multitude. That face, which was fairer than the sons of men, to be spit on by those beastly, wretched Jews. That mouth and tongue, which spoke as never man spoke, accused for blasphemy. Those hands, which freely swayed the scepter of heaven, nailed to the cross. Those feet, like unto fine brass, nailed to the cross for man's sin. Each sense pained with a spear and nails, his smell with the stinking odor, being crucified on Golgotha, the place of skulls, his taste with vinegar and gall, his hearing with reproaches, and sight of his mother and disciples bemoaning him, his soul comfortless and forsaken.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Now, I do think we have to be careful so that we don't, what he's doing is taking us to the cross.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that we don't get to the cross and only feel the shame that's at the cross. And so we feel the wrath and we feel the shame of our culpability and responsibility, and we don't then embrace the grace that is expressed. So the depth of the sins that we are recognizing required the blood of Christ.
Right.
The depth of that is to show us the depth of the grace that he bestows upon us. So it would be easy to kind of look at one half of this and not get the full picture.
Yeah. And when you don't get the grace, what you're left with is this deep sense of regret without the energy and ability, because that's what grace does for us, to then fight sin and get up with all that energy. You end up crushed without having the life of the resurrection really inside of you. So that's a really good point, Bruce.
Yeah.
Really good point.
Yeah. It's helpful. You don't want to lose either side there. You don't want to think your sin wasn't that bad. You want to recognize how evil it is. Even like, Jerry Bridges writes the book Respectable Sins.
Yes.
And, it's like sometimes we can do that with our sin. I mean, that's what this whole device is. You color it in a little more. But you need to see it for the evil that it is and what the price that was paid. But then also understand that price was paid with incredible love and grace and kindness to bring you back, to redeem you. You who were formerly far off, been brought near by the blood of Christ. It has, I think, two dimensions to it. One is a very humbling, like it does sort of drive you down. Yeah. The other, like it sort of elevates you and realize, oh my goodness, he loved me that much. Yeah. It sort of, like you said, strengthens and gives you new vigor to confront sin and fight it.
Yeah.
I would say I wish I could remember who said this, but I was listening to someone preach one time, and they said that just remember that Christ not only willingly but knowingly went to the cross for that. So it wasn't just, I'm willing, whatever comes with that, I'll take it. Yeah. But he knowingly did it. And knowingly in terms of the sum of all the sin of the world, but also knowingly in terms of you and I. Yeah. So what he is dying on the cross, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? That moment of becoming sin and forsaking, he did that knowingly.
Yeah.
He knew our sin.
Ligon once in Jackson, as he was preaching through Luke and we got to the crucifixion, one of the things that he said, which at the time just blew my mind, was that at any point on the cross, not only was he suffering, but he had the complete and total power to stop it.
That's right.
You and I, if we were in that situation, we would be completely and utterly helpless, and we would give and do anything as we're struggling to breathe, as our muscles literally are rent, and it is full pain. We would do anything to stop it, and he could at any moment. He commands the air. He could have just commanded the air back into his lungs. He could have commanded the full host of the heaven to come and release him from the cross. Every single moment is a willing submission to what sin cost. Oh, man.
That's powerful.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, Fleming, what was your favorite remedy?
I really liked the one we just talked about here, Remedy 4. I mean, that one definitely stood out. But I think Remedy 3 is helpful. I mean, these are all somewhat in the same vein of getting you to really see what sin is and not to see past sort of the paint, that fresh coat of paint
that veneer.
Satan puts on. Yeah, that veneer. But Remedy 3, he says, to look on sin with that eye, which within a few hours we shall see it. And just the idea of your whole life is but a breath, and at some point you're going to come before the throne of God.
Yeah.
And to behold him in his perfect holiness and righteousness.
Yeah.
Faithfulness, truth, majesty, glory. I mean, you just throw every word you can get at it. And you're going to, with that on one side and knowing your sin on the other, there's going to be no little white lie. There's going to be no respectable sin. There's going to be nothing you look back on and say, well, that wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Like most people would have done what I did there in that situation. It wasn't the best, but you're not going to have any room to excuse things away when you behold just pure holiness. And he's saying, try to look at it that way. Yeah. Try to think of that. I mean, even that moment. He talks about being on your dying bed and having all these things. What was formerly more sweet, or appeared more sweet, will appear most bitter. That which appeared most beautiful will appear most ugly. That which appeared more delightful will then appear most dreadful to the soul. Like the absolute sinfulness of sin. Consider that. He wants you to really think that through. Again, it's all. I mean, I think we noticed this last time too. It really is a thinking about what sin is and what these devices are.
Yeah. It takes voluntary consideration to reveal what it is. It will never present itself as what it is. It never presents itself as ugly and death.
That's right.
It's always going to deceive. So it takes active work on your part, seeing with the eyes of the soul.
And that's a good point, Josh, you make there. I appreciate you even that word deceive, because as I was reading this chapter or this device and remedies, one of the thoughts I came up for was honestly, Satan does not even have to do this sometimes. Willingly. You think of Jeremiah talking about how the heart is so deceitful itself. Like your own heart will color these things this way. It's we need to have that recognition that actually I'll fall into this on my own.
There's a kind of a subplot or sub-strategy at work here. Yeah. So he said, okay, it's by painting sin with virtue's colors. Well, then you get into it and you go, well, actually, it's by painting sin with what you think are virtues colors. So sometimes he doesn't really have to deal with a big dichotomy of issues. He just knows what'll trip me up and what I would call that's virtuous.
Yes.
So because I'll call it virtuous, I'm sold.
Yes.
I've already got the hook in the bait in a sense from last time. And I'm already led astray, and it was way too easy. Like you said, Satan doesn't even have to work hard.
That's right.
It's just too easy.
One of the things that I was thinking about as I was going through this is just a piece of self-knowledge, knowing what virtues you and I really prize, and therefore knowing the color that Satan or our own heart is going to paint it with. For some of us, there's a virtue that feels like security. And anything that would paint itself as being secure, even if it takes deception to get it, it's so enticing. And for some of us, it's momentary joy, or it's the lack of anxiety, or whatever it is, whatever the virtue is for you.
Right.
You need to be self-aware enough to know Satan and your heart are going to paint with those particular colors. There's your palette, right? What is the palette that I am allured by when it comes to virtue?
Yeah, you see yourself as a committed person.
Yeah.
You're a faithful person, which somewhere is implicit that you're more faithful than most. Okay, so you which is pride, but you see yourself as a faithful person. So Satan's going to go, okay, I'll just take your faithfulness, and I will get you to do the wrong thing under the facade of being faithful.
Yeah, under that banner,
committed.
Yes,
you're a committed guy. You're a faithful guy. Okay, fine. That I'll just use that to lead you into sin.
Yeah.
And this is, even as we're talking through this and reading it, I mean, this is how Satan initially presents himself.
Yes,
is in the garden. He is painting a picture that is inaccurate.
Yes.
But it's a compelling picture.
Yes.
And it's a, I know he said to Eve, you will be like God, but it's also a God-like temptation.
Yeah.
So when you say you will be like God, we read it now as that's a very negative statement.
Yeah.
He was intending that as a very positive, appealing statement to her.
You will be a peer.
That's right. You'll be a peer. You'll be like God.
Yep.
Then it says that Eve saw the tree, and it lists out what she saw, that it was good for food, it was a delight to the eye, and it was to be desired to make one wise. What that means is she saw it differently than she had ever seen it before. The tree didn't change.
Yeah.
She got deceived.
Yes.
She saw it differently, and then she acted upon that. That's where we have to identify and know the genuine thing, so that we recognize, wait a second, that's that I'm being deceived to see something in a different way.
It's good. It's good.
Squires, what was your favorite of the remedies given here?
Well,
or
I mean,
one that you
one that we haven't talked about so far.
Yeah, maybe
because I mean they're all good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Now, I think Remedy 2, that the more sin is painted forth under the color of virtue, the more dangerous it is to the souls of men. Now, there's two things here. One, he alludes to something going on in his time.
Yeah, he's like, we don't even have to talk about it.
We don't really even have to talk about it. We all know it's true.
That's right.
I'm not sure what he's talking about. If one of our listeners knows, if you're familiar enough with this time period to kind of know what he's pointing to, I would love to hear it. Put it in the comments and let us know. But I did think about even today how forward thinking, how prescient this was. Think about how people want to label the murdering of the unborn. What do they want to label it as? Rights.
Reproductive rights, choice.
Yeah.
My body, my choice.
That's right.
Right? All of these virtues, choice, freedom, rights. Okay? Don't even really need to even talk about. Don't even have to point it because it's so widespread.
Yeah.
And he's able to say whatever it is that is there in his day and age, he's able to see it. And as soon as he mentioned it, I was like, oh, that is so true. That's going on right here, right now. And it's the power of language.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? And those on the other side, I think they're better than we are at this. I think they're better at using language to paint things, to make things that are morally reprehensible to look morally acceptable. And I think they're better at that. And our hearts allow them to be better just because of the fall of the world. We're always fighting an uphill battle than we are at painting the things that are genuinely morally reprehensible as morally reprehensible.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, you just read this, but he says the more it is painted forth under the color of virtue. So like, yeah, the more words you throw at it, it's reproductive rights and it's choice and it's freedom and it's autonomy. The more you do it, actually, the more dangerous it is.
Yes.
It's like you protest too much there, pal. It's like you keep saying it's good, good, good. Actually, that's one of the worst things out there. You know, it's
the more vile, the more paint you have to put on.
That's right. You have to really dress it up.
Yeah.
As Pastor Reeder used to talk about, you know, the slide of liberalism or progressivism, that one of the things that makes it such a challenge is we actually have the exact same vocabulary, but with different definitions.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And so
you're skewed.
and therein lies the deception.
Yeah.
It's being painted in a way. You use the word, but you mean it completely differently, and you're misapplying it for people, and that's part of what fuels the fire of the movement of the progressive or of the liberal.
And that was what makes it so deceptive, Bruce. I mean, you think about it, people are like, well, he's saying the right things, or that person's, and I agree with those points.
Sure.
Yep.
But that person actually means something very different. And that's where the deception comes in.
Yep.
Well, I'll mention this too. This was from Remedy 1. Did we talk about Remedy 1? I don't think we talked about Remedy 1, but I just thought this was a good point he's making, is that, look, sin, even if it's colored up, it's never any less filthy or vile or abominable. Yeah. He says you could take a poisonous pill. He has so many like great little, just one-line illustrations. You could take a poisonous pill. You could paint that thing up with gold, and it'd be so beautiful. It'd look attractive. People would want that poison, but it's still poison.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you swallow it, it's still going to kill you. Yep. Like you can. He's like, just consider that. Consider the fact that like it doesn't matter what you paint your sin as. Yeah. It's still vile.
Yeah.
It's still filthy, wretched. Just, as a baseline, it's like, hey, anytime you find yourself in temptation or what, just like maybe that's something you tell yourself. Look, no matter what why or what I'm trying to color this to go in that direction, like it's still filthy.
Yeah.
It's still vile.
Yeah.
It's still evil.
Yeah.
I think there's a kind of an unspoken remedy here. So it's, at what point are you most apt, or could you be most accurate in recognizing it for what it really is? Unfortunately, it's at the point with which we experience the bitterness of it.
Yeah.
So we've succumbed to it.
Yeah.
What we want to do then is get it over with, acknowledge it once, don't deal with it. That's when we really need to stop and take some action steps and figure out, how can I recognize this next time to see it for what it actually is? Because these remedies are great. Like, no matter how much you paint it, it's still going to be this ugly, filthy thing. But you're going to forget that.
Yeah.
So what can you do to remind yourself that, but every time I do this, I end up here.
Right.
And I hate this.
That's not what I want to be.
How can I capture an action step to give myself a warning sign on the front side to go, hey, heads up? It's the people that would say, every time I get in a conversation with those people, I end up gossiping. Every time I find myself in this situation, I end up making bad choices. Okay, you've got to figure out a way to create action steps and put those on the front side so as to not get near those sins again.
Yes.
I remember hearing a pastor along those lines. I remember hearing a pastor, I can't remember. Well, I won't even say because if I guess I might be wrong. But whoever it was said, picture the end of your sin, like the result, where it leads. And, he was talking, maybe this is to a group of men, I can't remember. He's like, picture the day you drive home to your house and it's actually no longer your house because however it is, you've cheated or whatever. And picture someone, friends or relatives, coming out with your boxes and loading it into the back of your truck, and picture hugging your kids. Let that sort of negative, what'd you call that? Negative reinforcement or something, fuel you way back upstream now to never get even close to that and to never do the things that would lead you down that road. And I've always remembered that's kind of a powerful, and it's sort of what you're saying there is like, we've all done things before and realize afterwards, well, that was stupid, and it was not at all what I thought it was going to be. It's left me miserable instead of the happiness it promised. Yeah. So if you can start to grab onto that feeling, and always pull it forward to the beginning, and that negative reinforcement of and that goes with the things we talked about earlier, the other remedies of Christ at the cross, and actually your sin. Yeah. Put them there. And it's one of those things, just like arm yourself with whatever of these devices you need to help yourself along the way.
So there's a general practice that I have been taught and learned by, or I should say a friend has done this in their life.
Right. A friend. I'm asking for a friend.
Not necessarily me. I'm asking for a friend.
Yeah.
They've done this in their life. They may or may not have been the third of four children and watched the older two siblings make terrible mistakes, and they may or may not have learned from those mistakes.
Yes.
But the general practice is, and it's hard to say, and I certainly don't want to write a book about it, and I don't want to be quoted about it.
Good thing this isn't going to live on the internet forever.
Exactly.
Good thing this is not a podcast anymore.
Learn at the demise of others. So you listen. You're not causing their demise.
Yeah.
You're not celebrating their demise.
No.
You're not even thinking that their demise is wouldn't happen to you.
Yep.
But the Lord put those in our life for some reason.
Yeah.
Right.
And we can learn from them, and we can apply the fruit of their demise into our lives.
Yes.
And for whatever reason, and I'm not sure that it's any more evident today maybe than before, it just seems like in the last couple of years or few years, the Lord seems to be in Christian circles with Christian leaders, seems to be pulling back the cover a bit. And there's some people who have been exposed on things that I would have never thought that they would be doing. And so you go, it's shocking.
Yep.
You certainly, there by the grace of God go I, but that's not enough. Like that's a good perspective. We should have that perspective.
Yep.
But what did they do? What can I pull from that and apply to the front side? Because I don't want to get anywhere near what these things are. And I think we can learn from biblical examples of those that fell into sin. Like you said, something was happening in his day, and he's acknowledging it. And basically, let's learn from it. And I think we have to do the same thing in history and present. Learn from the destruction, and we don't want to go that path.
Yeah.
That's good. I'll go back to 10-yard rule from last week. You mentioned it's like, as we see, as we observe in the world around us, things like, oh, this happened. I'm trying to think of a scenario. Oh, one of my fantasy football buddies got way too into it, started doing tons of online gambling. I mean, this is not true, but I'm just saying.
I know a friend who.
Online gambling, and now he's
talking about Josh?
No, sorry, bud. I didn't want to talk about this. But no,
I have something to admit.
But you know what I mean? Like taking that and saying, so how did he get from here to here?
That's right.
Well, I'm going to set up a 10-yard rule here. Right. If you didn't catch last episode, Bruce shared. Bruce shared a very helpful.
Al Stallings.
That's right.
Go.
Yeah.
10-yard rule.
The 10-yard rule, like put that up and say, well, I'm not going to even get close to the water's edge.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to happen to me what happened.
That's right.
To this friend.
In Galatians, Paul writes that we should bear one another's burdens. He warns us not to fall into the same sin.
Oh, that's right.
Be careful, right?
Yeah.
But the positive of being someone who helps to bear other people's sins or burdens and to correct people in sin is that we get to see the poison in their life. It more reveals that poison nature of that pill.
Yeah.
And so
takes that gold varnish off.
It does take the gold varnish off. And it is an encouragement to be a faithful counselor and mentor in the lives of others and distribute it across many people so that we all sin. We all end up tasting the bitterness as we encourage each other unto sanctification and see the bitterness crop up in each other's lives. Man, I don't want that particular bitterness. Right. I don't want to lose my wife or my children or my job or my ministry or whatever it is. And that just reveals in vivid, horrible colors the poison of the pill that is sin.
There's one quote in here that was, it just caught my attention.
Okay.
Until we have sinned, Satan is a parasite. When we have sinned, he is a tyrant. It's like, wow, where do you want to be doing the battle?
Yes.
With the parasite that you can theoretically fight off, or with the tyrant. You've allowed that tyrant that role in your life.
Yeah.
I thought that was a powerful comment.
Yeah, That's great. That's great. Well, thanks for hanging out with us again here at the One Another Podcast. Please like and comment, subscribe. You can follow us on @OneAnotherPodcast. On Instagram. You can email us 1a@firstprescolumbia.org. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments, I'll make sure to forward them to Bruce. Again, that's 1a@firstprescolumbia.org. Until next time, for Josh Fleming, Bruce Stallings, I'm Josh Squires. God bless.